Hi there, welcome to the Yoga Therapy Centre. Today I wanted to go through shoulder stand or Savangasana. Shoulder stand is an amazing pose to just to increase blood flow through the brain. It also helps decrease anxiety, depression, and stress, which are one of the big things in the world at the moment. So it's a handy pose, and it also strengthens the immune system, relieves headaches and tension in the neck and the shoulders. So a lot of really good reasons to do this pose. Sometimes when you're really tight around the neck and the shoulders, when I first learned shoulder stand, one of the hardest things was I was continually getting sore necks when I was doing it. And because I was doing teacher training, we were doing it constantly, day in, day out. And I was really tightening up around the shoulders. There's ways around that to help you get into the pose to the best way possible for you. So shoulder stand should never be a pose where you wake up in the morning, you go, I'm going to do shoulder stand, unless you're an experienced yogi. You wouldn't be doing that. You need to warm up. So I'm going to show you a couple of poses. They're going to help you move into shoulder stand. You know, you have to be in them for like a minute or so tops. So what I'm going to do is show you legs up. So it's legs up against the wall or legs up. So you can have just your legs up like this, just in preparation. You can bring your hands underneath, or you can place a towel or a block underneath if you like. But this is quite sufficient, is all you need to do here. And that's just preparing for the pose. Also, you can use the wall. So if you can grab a wall, make sure your bum's up against the wall and you come up in this position or straight up, whichever way you like. Okay, so that's easy inversion, Paparita Karani, which is an easy inversion. So if you sit in that for 45 seconds to a minute, or even longer if you like, it's the longer you're in it, the better. What that does is it starts releasing all any swelling or any build-up around the ankles and around the knees and in the legs in general, which is going to release in shoulder stand as well. So that'll start that going. Then we want to prepare the back, because we're actually bringing the legs up, pushing up straight. So we want to prepare the back to do that. So there's two poses that we want to do before we do shoulder stand to prepare the back. And the first one is bridge pose. So we're going to do a back bend in bridge pose. So bridge pose, just bring the feet up, soles of the feet on the floor, heels up towards the buttocks, feet hip width apart. Hands down onto the floor, shoulder blades together. Bring the chin in towards the chest. Then we're just going to lift the hips up. Lifting the hips up, you might have enough here, and that could be more than enough. Just keep squeezing the glutes, pushing the hips up towards the ceiling. If you want to come deeper, you can interlace all 10 fingers, bring the shoulder blades in together, closer, and lift up a little bit higher. Again, this pose, you can stay in it for a minute, 2 minutes, whatever you like, just stretching out. You can always come back down, relax, move back into the pose, but keep squeezing the glutes, keep pushing the hips upwards, keep squeezing those hands and pushing the hands down towards the feet. This is actually the pose before you move into shoulder stand, because we're doing a very similar position for this, and you'll see once we get into shoulder stand. So that's the back bend, and that's bridge pose. Okay, so we've got easy inversion, bridge, and then it's always really nice to come into child's pose. Nice wide-legged child's pose. And the reason we want to come into this is to lengthen through that lower part of the spine. Okay, so we want to lengthen through that area. So bringing the forehead onto the floor, hips back to the heels, we're starting to prepare that back for the bend. Again, you can stay in that for 30, 40 seconds. If you want to come into a few cat-cows, come into a few cat-cows. Then we prepare for shoulder stand, Savangasana. So what I would suggest in shoulder stand is to get yourself prepared correctly first up. So I've got a few blankets here that I'm going to use to get the stretch through the neck and shoulders. And you place the blankets down on the floor and your neck is going to come up. So your shoulders are going to be on the blanket and your head is going to be behind the blanket on the other side. So preparing yourself for shoulder stand. And then dropping the head. So the shoulders are on the blankets, the head is on the mat, okay? Then what I'm going to do is just come up and bend the knees, bring the knees in and lengthen through the spine. So I want to lengthen through this spine so you'll feel your tailbone push away. Come up and then work your way up. So get your hands on the floor, bend the legs over, get your hands behind the hips as you push up. Just feel around with the shoulders. This is a really, really comfortable position right here. So we don't want the legs to come back where mine are right now. We want to bring them forward, so away from the body, to try and have them nice and straight. The deeper you get in to this pose, the higher you lift your hips. Keep bringing those feet forward, away from the body. Then what you can do is interlace all 10 fingers like we did in bridge. That's a little bit more balancing, a little bit stronger of a pose. From there, you can come back into plow, touching the floor. You can spread the legs out, knees down. Coming back into shoulder stand. And holding shoulder stand. So again, work those elbows around, pushing up. My neck is really comfortable with this padding underneath. Breathe, you can stay in shoulder stand for quite some time, as long as you like. So reversing the blood flow, getting really good flow through the upper body and the brain. Releasing any sort of build-up of fluids in the legs. Strengthening the immune system, stretching through the neck, stretching through the back. And to come down, you should come down nice and slow. Bend the legs back over and come down with your hands down, one vertebra at a time. Nice and slow. And this feels awesome. Just coming down, 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 and down. And after shoulder stand, you should really stay in a nice, comfortable position for a few breaths. And then what you want to do is move into fish pose. So fish pose is the opposite stretch. So fish pose, you can come into a few different ways. We're going to bring the hands underneath the hips, come up onto the elbows. You can have your legs straight, or you can come into Padmasana, or just crossing the legs, or have your legs like this. However you want to do, I'm just going to go legs straight. And we lift the chest up, drop the head back onto the floor. So we only need to stay here for 30 seconds or so. This is the counter pose. It's Matsyasana, it's a counter pose to Savangasana, which is shoulder stand. And out of that pose, you can relax on your back, or you can sit in the position and you'll be ready for meditation right now. As we've lengthened through that spine, we've really opened up through the lower back, and sitting here right now, is super comfortable. Okay, so just to cover a couple of things, if that's too much for you, always do legs up. So you can place a block under your hips, lift the legs up, your hands under your hips, lift the legs up. Legs up against the wall is a really good one. And that is where you need to stay until you're comfortable to come into this position. Before you get into this position, it's legs up the wall, bridge pose, child's pose, and then use blankets to build up. Okay, really, really important to get the blankets to build up. Shoulders on the blankets, head on the floor or on the mat. Slowly bend the knees up to lengthen through the lower back. Lift the legs up straight. Get your elbows on the blanket. Try and bring them as close as you can in towards each other and lift as high as you can. You naturally want to come back this way towards the body, so keep pushing the legs that way. Then you can bring your hands underneath you like this. You'll feel a lot more strength needed for that, so you can back that off and bring the hands on the floor. Okay, so they're the main things, and when you come down slow, bend the legs back, come down slow, vertebrae by vertebrae, move into fish pose, and then you're ready for a perfect meditation. So thank you so much for watching. Any questions, just make sure you shoot me an email at the yogatherapycenter@gmail.com or get to me on my website, the yogatherapycenter.online. There's a chat box there. You can just throw it in there and I'll answer you. So enjoy, build yourself up into shoulder stand. It's a great position, but never ever compromise pain for the position. So if you're feeling pain, don't go in it. Use easy inversion. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Namaste from